It looks like the next frontier for the NBA is going to be Europe. A couple days ago, a report came out saying that the NBA is in serious conversation with FIBA to establish a league in Europe to rival the EuroLeague. Now, if you didn't know, FIBA is essentially the governing body for basketball worldwide, kind of like the FIFA version of basketball. And just like the FIFA World Cup, it is held every single 4 years with qualifying in the years prior to see which teams will qualify and be able to make it to the finals to be able to crown themselves the champions of the world. The most recent tournament was held in 2020, and a German team led by Dennis Schroeder actually beat a Serbian team with Nikola Jokic and ended up winning the championship, with the Canadians coming in third and America coming in fourth, failing to get an actual medal in this tournament. This tournament was a catalyst for why America went so hard with the most recent Olympics, essentially getting all the All-Stars, the Avengers together to be able to get a gold medal in the USA, because America has largely been the dominant force in basketball, but they can see that their reign and their dominance has been slipping year by year, decade by decade, and that FIBA tournament where the Germans were crowned #1 in the world was just another example of that. So it's interesting to see that NBA is now taking their talents to Europe. And let me explain what the EuroLeague is and how it functions so that I can give you an example of what the NBA is looking to compete with in Europe. The EuroLeague in a nutshell is a competition that takes the best teams from all around the different European domestic leagues and combines elements of a league format and a knockout format. So let me explain. There's 18 of the best teams from around all the different European countries are asked to participate and join. Each team plays 34 games in total, 17 at home and 17 away, so it's an even split. Then at the end of the season, the top 8 teams get to advance to a playoff. The playoff is a best of 5 series between the top 8 seeds. You have the first seed against the 8th seed, the second seed against the 7th seed, and so on. And just like in the NBA, the higher seeded team has a home team advantage in the series. And then in the final 4, you have a single elimination tournament, and this is always held at a neutral site, kind of like the NBA Cup where they always hold it in Las Vegas, with obviously the winners advancing to the final. But the key difference here is that there is a 3rd place game for the 2 other teams that failed to make the finals and lost in the semifinal. So the EuroLeague has a little bit of everything. It has league play, it has tournament play, it has knockout rounds. So it's kind of like a regular NBA season mixed with the NBA Cup, also mixed with March Madness for NCAA basketball, all in one. And because of the nature of there only being 34 games, it makes every single game that much more important, almost like the NFL where every game matters, because losing one game, losing a stretch of 2 or 3 could mean that you might get knocked out of the competition and might not be able to make it to the final 8 teams. Add to that the game lengths are also shorter than the NBA as well too. Instead of 48 minutes for the games, it's only 40 minutes for each game. So overall, this facilitates a more intense game and a more team style play in Europe, which makes the atmosphere a lot more intense. And I have personally never been to a EuroLeague game, but I've seen clips online, and let me tell you something. European fans are just on a whole other level. There's a reason why Nikola Jokic kind of laughed off NBA intensity and fans during the playoffs, because he played in Serbia, my guy. And if you know anything about Serbian fans, I'll include a video here. They are absolutely nuts when it comes to soccer, when it comes to basketball as well. Like, look at how they're dancing up and down in the stadium. It is absolute lunacy. And it makes sense that the NBA would want to transition into a partial EuroLeague, because as it stands right now, the NBA is actually sourcing so much of its talent from Europe already. You have players like Nikola Jokic, you have Giannis, for example. These are all guys that came from Europe to the NBA. I'm sure for the NBA, it's as much of a business decision as much as it is a natural pipeline to be able to get a lot of the European talent directly from Europe over to the NBA once they've shown that they're skilled enough. Now, it does look like the NBA is going to try to use their brand name and power alongside FIBA to be able to convince a lot of the teams that would have played in EuroLeague to be able to jump ship and come to the NBA EuroLeague instead. Currently, a lot of the major teams that are in the EuroLeague, such as Real Madrid and FC Barcelona, are already signed with the EuroLeague until 2025-2026 season. So it's most likely that the NBA is going to try and convince a lot of these teams to jump ship after that contract is done. And quite honestly, I think this is actually a pretty brilliant move from the NBA because it benefits both the NBA and those European teams. A lot of those European teams are lesser known because, let's face it, most people just watch the NBA. But if the NBA is able to shine a light on a lot of these European teams, it also means more money and more recognition for them. It means a better pipeline for European players to come to the NBA. It also gives the NBA another method to be able to package media deals as well. And who knows, for those hardcore basketball fans who really miss fundamental basketball and team play, the EuroLeague might actually end up becoming the preferred destination to watch intense basketball because of the shortened schedule and because of how intense it is. A lot of basketball fans may end up preferring EuroLeague basketball. Obviously, the NBA at the end of the day is going to have more star power and more popularity, but for those really intense fundamental fans, they may actually prefer the EuroLeague basketball game if the NBA is able to do this. And this also addresses another problem because, let me ask you, if I were to ask you who is the #1 overall pick this year in the NBA draft, who would you say it is? Hold up, I'll wait. Exactly. The average person doesn't even know who the pick is. By the way, the answer to that question is Zachariah Rice-Share, who was drafted to the Atlanta Hawks, #1 overall. In my opinion, this is a complete brilliant move the NBA is able to pull it off because on one hand, it gives familiarity with a lot of these players who will eventually be making it to the NBA and become superstars, similar to Victor Wembanyama or Giannis or Luka Doncic. You're able to see them before they blossom into superstars. And this creates a lot of familiarity, a lot of hype prior to them even coming to the NBA, kind of similar to how we already knew who Carmelo Anthony was or who LeBron was even before they stepped foot in the NBA. We'll say on the other hand, all this does is just further confirm that the NBA is no longer going to be US dominant moving forward in the future. There's a potential that for the next couple of years, the NBA MVP might not be American. And this is something that we've seen in the NBA for the last 5 years. The last American MVP in the NBA was James Harden in 2018. Since then, it's just been Giannis, it's been Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic again. And quite frankly, this year is no different. You have Nikola Jokic leading MVP odds again. In second place, you have SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's from Canada. You have Luka Doncic, obviously he's from Slovenia, and then you have Giannis, who's from Greece. So again, you have another year in the NBA that goes by where the top 4 candidates aren't even American. Comment your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys think about this potential NBA EuroLeague coming in the next couple of years. Do you think it'll be good for the NBA, or do you think it'll just facilitate more European style play in the NBA over time? I want to know what you guys think. And when do you think the NBA will have its next American MVP? In my eyes, I think that either Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards probably have the best shot of being the next American MVPs. But what do you guys think?